reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
So I'm Celeste with Guild Wars Reporter / MMO Reporter / any reporter you may want to launch on our network. And I'm here with Colin Johanson, Game Director for ArenaNet.
Hi there. When it's ready.
Thank you very much. That's all you need to see, and we're good, right? Right. Now let's go ahead and do the whole thing. Yeah. So we did have a few questions.
Okay.
First, for those that may not be completely familiar with you, which is doubtful, but if you can run through the sort of stuff you do on a day-to-day basis.
Sure, yeah. So I'm the game director for Guild Wars 2. So I am predominantly responsible for setting out sort of the long-term vision for where the game goes, and communicating that to the team and to the fans in the community when we are at moments like today where we get to talk about that stuff. And then really trying to keep a cohesive message about what Guild Wars is all about, what our pillars are, what our game is intended to be, to our staff, and in particular to our leadership team that runs Guild Wars 2, and to kind of help guide them in what our fans are looking for, and just generally direct where the game is going.
Very cool. So I have to just go ahead and ask, what class is your favorite, or profession? I'm sorry.
I main an engineer, although I've been getting a lot more into Ellie lately. But definitely NG's the number one for me.
Awesome. My engineer is so neglected.
Oh no.
So what is your favorite part of the upcoming features that you're most excited about to play with in game? Not necessarily for other people, but for yourself.
To play with, that's interesting. Yeah, from a development standpoint, it's a little different. It's kind of a cliche answer of everything. But for me to play personally, I think I'm most excited about Stronghold. I cannot stop playing it. Every time we have a play session at work to play Stronghold and the time runs out and we have to go back and go do other stuff, it's just like, oh, God, I don't want to leave the room. It just, I don't know. For me, it scratches all the right itches for what I'm looking for out of a competitive experience. There's a lot of really exciting moments. You're constantly shifting roles in what you're doing in combat. It gives me a little bit of Guild Wars 1 nostalgia. It actually reminds me a little bit of Fort Aspenwood meets GVG meets a little bit of elements of MOBA smashed together into one. I just love it. Like that's, I'm going to play everything. That's my job anyway, I guess. But, certainly that's probably the thing as a player I'm most excited to go play of everything right now. But I mean, it's all really cool. I think the team is doing an amazing job building an expansion that I hope lives up to what our fans are expecting from us.
Oh, I'm sure everybody's going to be super excited about it. I mean, everybody was waiting for an expansion announcement, and I'm sure that was the most cathartic moment, going up there and finally being able to say those words to everybody.
That was awesome. Yeah. I think, we had a big party back in the office yesterday for everybody watching the stream. I'm so proud of our team that we were able to pull off yesterday and keep it a secret as long as we did, so it could be a big surprise and be a big event.
How hard was that?
Very, very hard. I won't lie. Many of us, many times, pitched, hey, maybe let's think about some other options. What are we going to do? And ultimately, this was the right way to do it. It culminated with the way the story ended. It made a big moment. And it meant we got to talk about this expansion when we were ready to talk about it, when we actually could come and give meaningful descriptions to where we want the game to go. And now we get to immediately roll right into, in literally in a matter of weeks, doing deep dives on all these features that we just heard about, and getting 6 weeks from now to have a playable demo at PAX East and Res. I love that it can be
mind-blowing.
Let's announce it. Let's go. Yeah. So it's about to get very crazy, but it's cool. I'm really excited about the way that it went off. I'm very excited about how excited the community is. Yesterday, I don't think could have gone much better. We were the #1 channel on Twitch, which is crazy. And the coverage and the response has just been phenomenal. And I really think we've listened really hard to what the community has said over the last couple years. Certainly, I hope people are seeing now what a lot of the collaborative development initiative topics, how they actually tied back into things that we were quietly doing behind the scenes and why they mattered. And I really hope that we're going to deliver something that fills some of the holes that Guild Wars 2 had when it launched, that it really needs to get us to where we want the game to go.
Right. So going back to the CDIs and stuff like that, when we saw the introduction of the Carapace collections and having to fill in the luminescence and all that kind of stuff. Is that kind of a connection towards y'all covertly testing and seeing how the waters would go for some of the stuff we're going to see with mastery and the lore searching and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think those are examples of that type of stuff. Certainly, if you think back to the original Guild Wars, the Black Moa experience is another thing that I think kind of laid a little bit of pre-groundwork for what some of this is. In Guild Wars 2, the Mad Memories scavenger hunt had some elements of that too. We went through a lot of concepts on how we would handle the Precursor building. And unfortunately, we talked about it probably a lot sooner than we should have. But at the same time, we wanted players to know it's something we were working on. The fun part of development is sometimes, and this is, I think, a luxury of ArenaNet, that I hope our players can appreciate, is we build something and it's not good enough, or we come up with a plan and we could be a long time into development on it. And if it doesn't meet what we think our players would be excited about, we'll throw it out and start over again. And the legendary Precursor process went through that a couple times. And ultimately, we settled on, hey, collections is a system we love to have. When we got those, doing things like the luminescent set, and even some of the other fun collections that originally came in around that when that system came live. Some of that is a test, certainly, for the things that we want to do in the future. And the masteries unlocking the ability to build these collections that give you a precursor very much build on that concept. The difference is, the luminescent set is predominantly about playing in one zone,
right?
And occasionally going out in the world to do one or two other things. The precursor experience is going to be about playing the entire game. It's going to be about playing all over the place, about playing PvE in different zones and different types and exploring different types of content, and then bringing all of that back together to reward you with this great item when you've completed all of that.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the selling points back, I think 2 years ago now.
Yep.
So when we first heard about this, is that it was going to be this cross-world trek, kind of harken back to the Guild Wars 1, very last quests that we had with, I think it was Wayward?
Yeah.
It was those type of quests where it's you had to go everywhere.
It should be like it. It should feel like when you've completed it, you've had an epic journey and it feels rewarding and you've done a lot of really fun content. And ultimately, we needed a system that allows us to accomplish all of that could work for this type of stuff. Really, to a large degree, that's what this expansion is all about. Is there's some core pieces of Guild Wars 2 that we did not have the core features and content types to be able to grow the game to where we want it to go.
Right.
We've constantly heard we'd like to see more challenging content. To do that, we need to be able to provide things that allow you to progress and build your characters so we can continually provide new challenges. And we just didn't have a system for that. I think our skills and trait system is more about minute-to-minute combat. It's not about building and becoming more powerful. And so our mastery system is our answer for that. And our hope would be having that. Now we can, after the expansion, do regular updates that add more content, that becomes more challenging, that adds more progression in the sense of abilities that you can learn. And it does it in a meaningful Guild Wars 2 way, where the things that you're progressing actually let you play the game in cooler ways and gives you more exciting things to do, as opposed to, I'm here and I can't wait till my stats are here so I can go do something else. That's not our game, and I'm excited about what this will mean for us.
Yeah, I'm super excited about horizontal progression as somebody who still hasn't made Ascended Armor. So I'm excited.
Well, now you can do it whenever you want because it will never get replaced by something else. So.
And you brought up the mastery system. Is there any chance that I could get an example of one of the challenges we might face?
So mastery system, some of them are very simple and things that we've done before. Things like completing exploration of an entire map will reward mastery points. Some of the mastery points will go into the core Guild Wars world as well. So the day the expansion comes out, you actually might have a number of mastery points already earned because of things you've done in the core world. Examples of other stuff would be things like defeating a boss for the first time on your account. Some of the more challenging ones. Being able to get to locations that otherwise you would never be able to get to. So as you master your hang glider, you're going to be able to get higher up into maps and find locations that you couldn't get to. Defeating group challenges and overcoming those with you and your friends for the first time will reward mastery points. Building collections. Some existing collections will give mastery points, as well as a number of new ones that send you about to enjoy all the content that we've built. Those are just some examples of the types of stuff that will give mastery points. And then we're going to be regularly adding content that actually gives more ways to earn it and new ways to spend your mastery points as well.
Okay. Some questions that I got from friends actually was, will specializations be locked, like, permanently, or is it going to be like trade or build swapping to where you can decide,
Yeah, you can.
today I'm going to be this, but not tomorrow?
Yeah, anytime you're out of combat, you can swap right back out of it.
Okay.
So you can become a druid, play that way for a while, swap and come back to a ranger and play as a ranger whenever you want. As long as you're not in combat, you can swap it just like skills and traits.
Okay. Can you... My co-host asked me to ask you.
Okay.
Can you change the name of dungeons officially to fungeons? Because that's what we call them.
Probably not.
We drink fruit juice on Saturday nights and do dungeons and call them fungeons.
Nice. For the rest of my life, quietly, I'll think of them that way now too. Thanks, Celeste. I appreciate that. But definitely externally, that is not going to be a name that sticks. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more really fun question. Mm-hmm. Are the candy dispensers there for post-Reddit reading crying?
I think the candy dispensers are there for just general. I don't want to say good health, because that is certainly not it. General work happiness, let's say. You have that moment where it's like, yeah, I'm having a rough day. Mike and Ike's. Oh, Mike and Ike's. You make everything better. Yeah, that's I think more their role. Certainly I have no doubt there are moments where some Reddit thread caused somebody to go eat a few peanut butter M&Ms at some point. But yeah,
most likely.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's part of our culture.
I have one that's really specific, and it's one that I came up with when you were talking about the lava pools under the new World vs. World Borderland. Mm-hmm. If your Zerg is underneath in the lava pool traveling, and your server loses, the keep that allows you to go through that, mm-hmm. Are you all just gonna die in the lava?
It's pretty instantaneous. Like the second you jump in, it's like a teleport where you'll bounce between.
So it's like in Heart of the Mist with the worm tunnel.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Okay.
And I think Heart of the Mist, some of the concepts from Heart of the Mist are being applied to this, but taken to a different level. Edge of the Mist. In Edge of the Mist, each of the different points that you control gives you an ability.
Right.
In the new Borderlands map, it's a little bit different. It's the more points you control, the more abilities come available. And so it's not control this one specific place to get these abilities. It's control the shrines. And the more shrines that you hold around the area, the more benefits that you get whenever you're in the area where your keep is. Okay. If you venture outside of that area, none of those abilities are available to you. And so it's to help you defend. It's incentive to hold locations and to make it harder to take your keeps. And each of the locations in the map has strategic value like that. The towers are actually located at choke points for travel, and they actually have walls that run around them that actually completely block choke points. So there are moments where literally you have the choice of, do we go after the tower? Do we siege through and try to take out the wall to make a quick run and sneak inside their fort area? You got a lot of different choices. And so every location becomes, I think, more valuable and more worthwhile to hold. And we're taking that concept and we're actually going to broadly apply that to World versus World as well. The Borderland map is just sort of the new example of that.
Okay. Is gliding going to be available outside of the Heart of Maguma area? Or is it just in there?
For now, at least, the plan is it is just in jungle, inside the Heart of Maguma. I don't think there's any way we could take it back to the existing world we built today. Unfortunately, it would break all the maps and you'd be able to fly right off them. So that is very unlikely. But new content we build in the future, certainly we'll be looking at how we take advantage of that system now that we've got it. I was asked yesterday about World versus World. If things from the Mastery system ever go into World versus World, and they could, they would be as World versus World abilities that you buy from the World versus World ability tree. We're really trying to keep those separate. Mastery system is PvE endgame progression. Right. The World versus World system is World versus World endgame progression. And then PvP is everyone's always balanced, equal playing field. Right. Player skill one's out. And those are really our core messages for each of those game modes.
Okay, so you brought up the World versus World Mastery tree for Mastery points on the PvE side of things. Am I going to be able to unlock everything? Like if I were to play World vs. World exclusively, you see those guys are ranked 10,000 with everything, and you have to wonder, would I be able to do that on the PvE side of things?
Yeah, the mastery system will always be adding new mastery points. Okay. That's a huge part of the system. It's not just this expansion. We're constantly going to use this as our framework for how we reward you with progression going forward. So you'll always be getting new mastery points and new lines to spend and extended lines to spend them on. But certainly if somebody is really dedicated, I'm sure they could get to the point that they have every mastery point available in the game, and they're looking forward to the next release that begins to add more of them.
Right, because we always have those overachievers on the leaderboards.
There always are, yeah.
Max achievements and stuff like that. Gosh, I know there was a billion other questions that I wanted to ask you, but we're out of time.
Until next time.
Yes, that's right. So thank you for coming and watching the video, and we hope to see you in game.